Hello, Steve White, Trickboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Okay, so last night the Lower Decks trailer dropped. I was surprised by it. A lot of people were. Apparently, there was some issue with there not supposed to be a trailer. So the fact that they had one and they lied apparently is an issue for people. I didn't know anything about it. Apparently, it was leaked. And then they released a trailer which wasn't geo-blocked, so I was actually able to see it, which was surprising to me. Now, I don't know if I'm actually going to get to see it because apparently they still have no distribution for the international audiences. So it's going to be showing on CBS All Access in America and CTV, Sci-Fi Channel for in Canada, and that's kind of it. No one else apparently is showing it, so I don't know if I'll see it. Now, CBS bought Channel 10 here in Australia, so... And we have Channel 10 All Access here, which seems to be similar to CBS All Access. So maybe we'll end up getting it. Maybe it'll get dumped here after all. Maybe we'll be one of the only countries that actually see it outside of America, but I don't know. But I originally was quite optimistic about it. I've since had my my optimism beaten down by all the reviews I've watched, and it's been beaten out of me, with good reason in a few cases. Now... My original optimism with it was basically that the attitude of the crew. I really loved the attitude of the crew. The recruits, the ensigns, these new Starfleet crew members were excited. They wanted to be there. Space exploration was exciting. This is something that's been missing from Star Trek. The last couple of Star Treks, Discovery, Picard, Beyond, they went out of their way to say space exploration is boring and empty and dull and pointless and just really, they clearly don't love Star Trek. And the love of Star Trek, just they just don't have it. And same with Discovery, it was all very dark, and Picard was all just miserable sort of Logan politics, and just wanting to sort of I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be on the Discovery. I didn't want to be in Picard's universe. For a moment, I wanted to be on that ship with them. So that made me feel something, which I hadn't felt from any Star Trek for a while. Maybe, in theory, Strange New Worlds, sorry. I nearly said Strange Things. Strange New Worlds. But, of course, we've had an announcement but no actual footage, so there's no trailer to get excited about. But that last scene in Season 2 of Discovery... I kind of almost wanted to be on that ship, kind of, maybe, assuming they went off and explored Strange New Worlds without any of the Discovery drama. So I was feeling optimistic. And then I kind of looked at a few things. And one main thing that was pointed out to me was that... I'm not a fan of Rick and Morty. I've never really seen it. I've watched about 10 minutes of one episode just to see what it was when I heard that people who were doing Rick and Morty were doing this. Is that it's made for an audience of 18 to 24-year-olds. I thought it was made for kids. So now, looking at the show in that context, I realise it's quite worrying. The humour is puerile and it's just gross-out humour. And I guess my only real hope for the show is that the people who created the show, and I've heard good things about them, I've heard they actually care about Star Trek and are passionate about Star Trek and doing a good show. And I've heard that from a few different sources, including some of the Phantom Menace people who actually attended Star Trek Las Vegas and actually went to a panel and actually spoke to them and asked them questions. Is that what often happens in Hollywood is the producers are in control. They basically buy a show, create a show, whatever. They're in charge, and they just hire someone to make it. And what I'm hoping is that the people they've hired basically subversively make a good show, and the humour that we saw in the trailer was just the sort of dumb humour that the producers, the Kurtzmans, basically wanted them to put in it because they think that's what people want. That's what they think people who don't know or like Star Trek want. The general audience, the lower brow audience, they think that's what they want. So hopefully the preview is basically all the bad parts from all the season all crammed into one trailer because those were the parts that the producers made them put in. Like, you have to have the fart jokes, basically. And hopefully that's what the trailer is, just a collection of all the worst gags, and hopefully each episode just has one or two of them, and the rest is actually a decent attempt to make a humorous Star Trek show. A lot of people were expecting Red Dwarf. It's another show I've never watched. I know, I'm sorry, I should have watched Red Dwarf. I know I grew up with a lot of British shows. I don't know why I never watched Red Dwarf. I'm going to have to watch it because it's just too much of a reference in science fiction that I can't not know it, so I'm going to have to go watch it. But yeah, I have a little complaints. There's the sort of people coming with the gender politics saying, well, the men are all lesser, particularly the stupidest men are the white men, all the minorities and aliens are smarter and better than that. And I'm like, I didn't catch that. I don't know if that's there or not, but it would make sense because that is something that was running through the other series. But I don't know. Someone else was talking about the comedy, and they did point out that Star Trek did comedy well because it did humorous, character-based comedy. Just you were laughing with the characters at the situations they were in. You weren't laughing at them. And that's a problem with this show. You're laughing at the characters. It's slapstick, gross out humour, and things that don't even make sense. Like Jessie Gender was talking about how she always thought about, who cleaned out the holodeck mess. And I'm like, who ever thought there was holodeck mess? Why wouldn't that deck be cleaned like all the rest of the decks on the ship automatically with no toil from any humans? We've moved beyond that. We don't have in Gene Roddenberry's future. We don't really have lower deck people who do the crap that no one would want to do because automation and just evolution has gotten rid of those issues. We don't have that, and the idea that they're putting this back into Star Trek from our time is really disturbing. Like we saw it a lot in the short for Picard, Children of Mars, where we have these people who work on. So bizarre. And I think this is related, so that's why I'm mentioning it. But they have these people who work out on the Utopia Planitia and stuff like that, and on Mars, and they basically don't get to see their kids for some reason. They can't transport home, or so, and they basically are a lesser class of people who aren't as intelligent and just act like truckers in space, like this old stereotypical. It's just this. It seems to be an extension of that, and that's one of the other criticisms that people have of the show, that the characters are just not intelligent enough. They're not sophisticated enough. They would not be or get through Starfleet and get into the positions they have. And other people, of course, are going to say, oh, it's just a comedy, it's just for fun. And it's like, but you have to be able to suspend your disbelief. And there's just no way. I mean, if this was a Starfleet Academy, like an academy, like a cadet ship or something, with people who haven't made the grade yet, you can understand. But the idea that these are actually ensigns, that these people are like Harry Kim standard at least. And yes, he should have been moved up beyond ensign well long ago, well into the series, Voyager, but he wasn't. But just they're not even up to Harry Kim standard. So how are these people even in there? It's like they are doing all the humour at the expense of Starfleet, at Star Trek. I sort of thought maybe they would just make fun of the main bridge crew, and even that I don't like, because like the idea of having horrible bosses and having like the bit I liked the most was the green girl who basically is just excited to be there, and she's just in awe of just being on a starship. That's what I miss from Star Trek. And she has this horrible boss turn around and basically call her lower decks. Like any Starfleet officer would demean another Starfleet officer like that. That is not what Star Trek is. That's what we do today, but that's not what we do in the future. That's the whole point of Star Trek. They just missed the point. It just seems to be, again, people who don't know all Star Trek making Star Trek for people who don't like or watch Star Trek, and just ignoring the fans and what they want to see, but expecting us to buy the merchandise and actually keep the show afloat. So it does seem on some level like more of the same. And there's really no way of knowing from a preview. Many a franchise, many a TV show, many a movie has been misrepresented drastically, by good or bad, by previews and that, so, and promotion. So we really won't know till we see the series. And I'm trying to be optimistic. I hope that they actually do make a good episode, and the negative elements that I'm seeing are just something they emphasize in the preview because the marketing and the producers sort of are the ones who don't get Star Trek, but the people who are making it do. That's the only hope that I have. And I'm just looking at my little handwritten notes. I think I covered everything. Yep. So yeah, I didn't get excited, but I was like, wow, this could actually be good. And the little things that bother me, I was able to look past because I thought so long as the heart of Star Trek is there and the excitement and the escapism is there and I want to be there, I'm okay. But it's looking like there are more issues, and it did take other people pointing them out, and everyone is hating the show. Apparently, the dislikes on the YouTube video was just huge, and they've turned off the likes, they've turned off the comments because everyone was hating on it. Now, whether this is warranted and real, or whether it's a hate campaign and all that sort of, because we're going to have probably going to have the same drama with this series that we have with the other Star Treks. Star Trek fans don't like it for real reasons. They get vilified, and then they get nasty, and then it just back and back and back. It's just, I just miss the old days where Star Trek was great and everyone loved it. What a concept. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm curious what people think. I've been watching a lot of videos and reading a lot of comments, just try and gauge where I'm at with it. And I realise I'm actually quite an optimistic person when it comes to TV shows and stuff. I really do expect the best and see the best, and sometimes I'm quite able to look past some of the negative things in order to enjoy the rest, whereas other people will not do that. They will just find the negative and just focus on that. So I'm glad I fall more to that side, but the other side kind of has its points, and yeah, kind of, like I said, I want to stay in the middle so I don't get disappointed. But I'm going to go. Let me know what you think. Comments are fun.